Hey guys, what's up? It's Tashay Loren and I am back with yet another fabulous YouTube video from you guys. I just came from Costa Rica about a week ago and I thought it was good to just do a video where I kind of give you guys my experience. This was supposed to be a vlog and then I realized I just didn't film enough content because I was living in the moment, so I thought this video would be just as helpful for anyone who is going on their first solo trip. Before we continue with this video, I'm going to ask you guys to please subscribe to my channel and turn on the bell to get post notifications for whenever I upload. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up at the end, or you can do it now. It's up to you. I have some notes here that I took. I took a lot of these notes while I was on the trip. So these are things that I was feeling while I was in the moment. So everything that I say is things that I learned from. A lot of these videos that tell you how to solo travel, what to bring when you're packing, what do you need when you're going to Costa Rica or traveling. A lot of them were helpful, but then I feel like a lot of things I had to learn on my own, just from my own experience. And I feel like if you combine my video with everyone else's video, you'll have an amazing trip. I know you will. But I'm going to be looking down at my notes just so that I don't get off track and I don't forget what I'm going to say. So if you see me looking down, that's what I'm doing. So the first thing I want to go over is what to pack. Well, even before then, before we get to what to pack, you want to decide where you want to go. I first decided where I wanted to go based on safety. I knew that I was going to be solo traveling. I know that I'm a female and I'm a black woman, so I wanted to go somewhere where I would be accepted and where I knew that there wouldn't be any danger for me, any human trafficking, any high crimes. I wanted to stand clear of all of those countries that may be involved with those scenarios. I did a simple Google search and I just put in safe countries to travel as a female, or where to go as a solo traveler, a solo female traveler. Make sure you put female in because your experience as a guy is going to be very different from your experience as a woman. So you have to definitely put those words in. So the first thing, I think the top 5 things that I got was like Bali, Costa Rica, Ireland, Amsterdam, and I think it was something else. It was like a part of Thailand. And out of all of these places, I had to really think, what would be the best place for me to go that is kind of budget friendly, that's not too far from home since it's my first time out of the country and my first time going anywhere solo out of the country, because it's my first time out of the country. I decided on Costa Rica because I figured it is very close to the US. It's not like all the way over there, because I wanted to do Bali, but I was like, Bali's so far, and for my first trip, I don't know if I want to go over there. I didn't choose Ireland or London or Amsterdam because I knew I wanted somewhere beachy. So that pretty much left it to Costa Rica, and that's kind of where I went. And once I figured out the place that I wanted to go, I looked up every YouTuber's vlog on their trip to Costa Rica. I recommend doing that if you are traveling. Look up people's vlogs, they're very helpful. Look up their travel hacks, the travel tips, how to pack luggage. All those videos are very helpful. Watch those, watch this one, you'll be fine. Once I figured out where I wanted to go, I booked my ticket through Priceline. I used Priceline. I tried to use Skyscanner and Ramondo, but Priceline, they have the option to add the travel insurance. It seemed like the easiest thing for me to do. I did that. Then I said, okay, what part of Costa Rica do I want to go to? I watched a bunch of vlogs and I realized that I wanted to spend most of my time in Puerto Viejo, which is what I did. It was so amazing. I'm going to insert some pictures here just to show you guys how it looked. I did a few things which I'll get to later, but I decided to go there mostly because it is the Caribbean coast and there are a lot of people of color. I know it's like a lot of Jamaicans are a part of that area, and I knew that if there were people of color, I would feel comfortable in my own skin. First, I was gonna do a little bus tour and go to like a few different ones like La Fortuna and Manuel Antonio, and I was gonna go to Tamarindo. And then I realized that I wanted to be in Puerto Viejo because it is rainy season. I don't want to be on the bus, back and forth in the mud, wasting days traveling instead of just being in one spot and then really enjoying the fullness of being in that spot. Booked Airbnb, and here's where the packing begins. Here's what to pack. This is the most simplest list you will ever think of. I think so many videos tell you all of these things, but there's a few key things that you need on your checklist. Shorts. Let me tell you, if you don't pack any other clothes for Costa Rica, just pack a pair of shorts, pack a cami, a t-shirt, and you'll be good to go. I packed a lot of dresses, a lot of maxi dresses, flowy dresses, a lot of two-piece sets. And to be honest, you're gonna be doing so much, like hiking, you're gonna be walking around, you're gonna be going to restaurants if that's what you wanna do, you're gonna be riding horses, whatever you wanna do, it's not going to require a dress. So I would stay away from that unless you packed like one dress, or unless you knew that you were gonna just be taking pictures. I don't know. Water shoes for the water activities you go on, flip-flops. Bug repellent is key. I will share my whole entire list of what I got in specifics, but the bug repellent I used was these not off wipes. I forgot, it was Repel. I think it's called Repel wipes, and I also used the spray to go with it. And weeks prior, I also sprayed my clothes with permethrin. 3 days before my trip, I sprayed all my clothes so that when I got there, I wouldn't be bit horribly. And I only got 3 mosquito bites while I was there. Compared to other people's trips, I heard they got 100. So I was lucky. Spraying my clothes definitely did help. And then on the day of, I would wipe myself down with the wipes and I was good to go. You definitely need is sunscreen. I mean, you're gonna be very close to the equator. Costa Rica is a hot place, very humid, a lot of sun. You need sunscreen. Do not skip this. Obviously, your toiletries. You guys know what that is. Toothpaste, toothbrush, deodorant, washcloths. I don't know. A light towel. This is one thing that I didn't bring on my whole entire trip, was a light towel, because I have very thick towels at home. I figured I was gonna buy a towel when I got there, but Costa Rica is not the most affordable place, so I wind up not having a towel the whole time. I was in Puerto Viejo, which is a really beachy town. I was in the sand. I was having to dust myself off. Sand was everywhere because the towel kind of helps get the sand off, you know? Being without it is kind of messy. Next thing that I recommend is getting sunglasses. Definitely there's a lot of sun. You want to protect your eyes. You want to look cute. Sunglasses are the way to go. Obviously your passport. Make a copy of your passport. Make another copy of your passport. Nothing happened with my passport, but just to be on the safe side, make a few copies. Put them at different places in your backpack. So one of my copies were in my little messenger bag. Another one was in my actual backpack. And all your accommodation details. So along with your passport, you should have everything that you may need for your trip. So that includes what time your flight is, what's the number of your flight, the airport that your flight lands in, the address to your Airbnb, the name of the host to your Airbnb, the phone number of your Airbnb host, and the town that you're gonna stay in. Anything that you can get, any information about where you're going. I gave a copy to my mother so she knew my full itinerary at all times. If it is your first time solo traveling and you want to do this as a safety precaution in case something happens, your family knows where you are, I would not skip doing this because this is extremely important. On top of that, if you're not worried about the safety part, it's also just good to know where you're going. Sometimes the phone dies. If you have it on a piece of paper, you know that you're gonna get to where you need to go regardless of your phone being charged. Another thing is a water bottle. You're gonna get thirsty. You need to stay hydrated in the heat. You should have a water bottle on any trip. A rain jacket. If you're going during rainy season, this is crucial. I feel like if you go to any country, you should just bring a rain jacket, especially if it's a really light one. I bought a really light rain jacket, which is also going to be in the description box. It was able to roll up and go right in my bag, so it was really helpful. I think I used it maybe about twice on the trip. I think it rained mostly towards the evening when I was on the trip, but there was a good 2 days that I wore it and that was absolutely fine. And pads, tampons, ladies, you know how this goes. You never know if your little friend is going to pop up on you. I didn't need mine, but it was good to just know that I had it in the event that I did need it. These are just some extra bonus things that you can pack. If you're into photos, I would definitely pack a camera with a tripod. I'll get to my little tripod story later. A first aid kit and some pain relievers. You should definitely bring some type of medicine for nausea and for headaches. I only brought pain reliever, and I wind up being very sick at the beginning of my trip, and I wind up being very miserable because I was sick. And if I had some Pepto-Bismol, if I had some Dramamine before I went on my flight when I started getting sick, I think I would have had a way different experience, because that really made my trip very unfortunate, because I was so excited, and feeling sick when you're in another country for the first time is the worst thing. If you guys can prevent it by staying hydrated, by taking medicine before your trip, by drinking tea, whatever you can do, definitely pack those little things so that you're healthy and you're able to enjoy your trip. These are going to just be some tips that I've learned along the way. Everything from flight details, etc. So the first thing is, make sure your flight has more than a 1 hour layover. On my way from Chicago to Dallas, which was, my flight details were Chicago to Dallas, because I started off in Chicago, and I had an hour layover in Dallas, and then we went to SJO Airport in San Jose, Costa Rica. Now, I made it on time for my layover to transfer to the next flight, but that might not always be the case. There are delays. I fly once a month for work. I know sometimes there are just delays. Things can happen to your flight that delays you. So if you have more than an hour to get to your next place before you have to transfer, you'll be doing yourself a great service right there, because it is crazy if you miss a flight, guys. I missed a flight once and I felt sick to my stomach, and I absolutely hated it. It is a waste of time having to wait to the next flight. Sometimes you can't get another flight. You don't want to be in that situation. Make sure you have more than an hour layover. Take out your budget money before you get to the country that you're in. So I, being the silly girl that I am, after watching all of these videos, only took out $20. And I figured that I was just gonna either use my ATM card the whole trip, or I figured I was gonna go to an ATM and take money out when I got there. The thing is, the $20 went super fast. Right when I got off the airport, Ubers are kind of illegal in Costa Rica, which I didn't know. So I wound up using the $20 for the taxis that were nearby, and then I didn't have any money for basically the rest of my trip until I made it to an ATM. So I think it's really key, because you never know when you're gonna need emergency money. Even if it is in dollars, you can always find like a currency place. If you're in Costa Rica, they do take US dollars. So it's great to have cash on you. I should have took out maybe $100 and just dispersed it in different places in my bag, but I didn't. So learn from my mistakes. Don't think that you could just use your ATM card, because there are a lot of places that don't take it. And then the ones that do, you don't know if there's any fees associated with it. So I think cash is just the best way. Also, the benefits of carrying cash is that you are in control of how much you spend. Using a card, you kind of just swipe and you swipe and you swipe, and then before you know it, you spent like $500+ for a 5 to 7 day trip. You don't want to do that, especially if it's not necessary. Be careful when carrying large amounts of money. Like I said, spread it throughout your bag, you'll be fine. Another important tip is to look up the distance from each location. This is absolutely key. If you are going to one place and then you have to go to another place, look up how long does it take me to get from place to place. Am I going to need to wake up 2 hours earlier to make it for a shuttle bus on time? This is the first mistake I made when landing in San Jose. Once I got to my Airbnb, the next day I had a flight at 7:50 in the morning. I thought, you know, I'm in San Jose, I'm going to be very close to where the shuttle is, not knowing that it was an hour away. I left at 7 o'clock. And in San Jose, there's a lot of traffic. So also look up to see if the place that you're going to has a lot of traffic. It might not be a high traffic place. San Jose is very busy. If you guys are going to Costa Rica, I'm letting you know there's going to be traffic. I would recommend that you just look up the distance. So If you know that it's going to take you an hour to get to the shuttle, leave 2 hours before. If you know this is going to take you 30 minutes to get there, leave an hour and a half before. Always give yourself like an hour to an hour and a half of extra time to get to your actual location. Unless you have time to waste and you just want to chill and relax. I don't know. But this would have saved me so much, because once I missed my bus that I was supposed to get on at 7:50, I had to wait for the next one at 2:30 p.m. Always check your space thoroughly before leaving any area. This is what you should do, whether you're at home, whether you're on any trip, whether you're going to the gas station, whether you're going to a restaurant. You should always check your space. This is key. I was in San Jose leaving to go to Puerto Viejo on my shuttle bus that I missed, and I left my tripod in the Airbnb, which ruined, well, it didn't ruin, which in the beginning I thought it ruined my whole entire trip, because I was like, oh my gosh, I came here to take pictures and now I can't take any pictures because I don't have a tripod. So I got on the shuttle bus and realized that I didn't have my tripod. Puerto Viejo is 5 hours away from San Jose, so I didn't have a tripod. I did go into a store near the bus station that had like the Gorilla Pod, and I kind of used that throughout my trip, but it's not the same because the Gorilla Pod kind of has to hook onto something, and if you don't have something for it to grab onto, it's kind of like pointless. Check your surroundings, make sure you have everything that you need, everything that belongs to you before going on to the next location. This is why you should also leave 2 hours before, because then you won't have to feel like you're rushing to do a quick check of the room. This is an Uber tip. Although Ubers were illegal, I think it's just illegal at the airport. But once you're in any other part of Costa Rica, you can use an Uber. So before you get to the Uber, make sure that you're actually putting in your starting point of your address. There are so many times where this has happened, where I let Uber pick my address and it ends up being either 2 blocks away or a mile away. You don't want that to happen. I don't know, it happened to me. And it happened to me in New York, but in Costa Rica, the Uber was actually like a mile away, which was unfortunate for me because that's another reason why I missed my bus. So make sure you're just putting in the exact address, and make sure that you're not letting Uber select it for you, even though that may be faster at first. Just to be safe, you don't want to waste any time if you don't have to. Learn the currency. A good app to use is XE Currency. If you don't have time to learn the currency, or if it's confusing, that app kind of converts everything for you. You put in the amount, it tells you how many colones it is. It's amazing. Definitely get the app. Eat at sodas, not on the main roads. So sodas are like cheaper restaurants where you can get food. In Puerto Viejo, they are in between the blocks. They're not on the actual main strip. So avoid the main strip. Wherever there are a lot of tourists, there's probably going to be higher priced items and higher priced food. So if you go in between the blocks, although people said it was dangerous, it was fine to me. Make sure you're going in the daytime though. I wouldn't recommend doing it at night. But you can go to the sodas, you can find meals for like $6. I figured this out at the end of my trip. Even though I looked it up and people said to go to sodas, when I got to Puerto Viejo, I couldn't find any, but that's because I was looking on the main road. Once I found sodas towards the end of my trip, I was eating there every night. So this is probably one of the most important tips that I'm going to give, is to see the good in all things. This is extremely key because as a traveler, as a solo traveler, as a solo female traveler, regardless of how much you plan, things are going to go wrong. It is okay. Like, really take a minute and breathe. When I first got to Costa Rica, I was feeling so sick, so nauseous. I started getting sick on the plane. When I got to my Airbnb, I was still sick. The next day, I was still sick and I missed my bus. Then when I got to Puerto Viejo, I still felt sick. And I wrote to a Facebook group called Girls Love Travel. If you're not a part of that group, join it. They're a supportive group of women who help female travelers like myself. They kind of put me into reality and said, look, you're in a beautiful country. A lot of people don't have these opportunities. Breathe. It is your first time. You're going to be okay. What can we do to help you? Can someone send her tripod? Like, these girls were so helpful. And I just had to really listen to what they were saying and said, wow, my stomach hurts. I am kind of frustrated that I don't speak the language, which is another thing that I forgot to say. Learn the language of the country you're going to before you get there. Try to learn more than the basics. A lot of people say to learn the basics, but the basics help you but so much. I think that's kind of what really made my trip impactful, was that I had to change my mindset because I was sick. It was just such a great experience just to know that I was here by myself. I was under the Lord's protection fully, and I thank God so much for that, because it could have been crazy. It could have been a bad trip, but I had God on my side and everything went smoothly despite me being sick. So I just wanted to stress that you really have to change your mindset. You don't know what's going to happen once you go to another country. You could be feeling good for a whole entire year. The minute you go on vacation, you could start feeling sick. But the key thing to remember is, unless you're physically dying, like, and you can't breathe, try to make the most out of the situation. Like, try to. It will really help you out, and then you don't want to feel like you wasted your money and you stayed inside the whole time being sick. Woe is me. You don't want to do that. Vacations are expensive. I just think it's really important for all women to solo travel. Costa Rica is a really safe country. I can only speak for myself, but there hasn't been one moment on the whole entire trip where I felt like I wasn't safe. I actually felt safer there than I ever felt in the US. The people are really amazing. They like to say pura vida. I didn't hear it as much as I was expecting, but people do say it as like a way to say bye, as a way to say hi. And everybody's really nice. It wasn't like an extreme amount of niceness, but it was nicer than what I get in the US. And be open to trying new things. Be open to meeting new people. I actually met 2 amazing women while I was on my trip. I met like a younger girl from Canada, and then I met like an older woman from Florida who was amazing. She kind of made my whole trip what it was. I met her at a tour that I took. If you're in another country and you feel like you kind of want to still have people around you, I would definitely book a tour in that country. I found my tour through Airbnb Experiences. I guess I highly recommend Airbnb. I've had a bunch of good experiences with them. This is not sponsored, by the way, but I just think it's important just to know that other than the Airbnb, like the bread and why can't I speak? Other than the bed and breakfast part of Airbnb, they also have really great experiences that you can just go to and experience while you're in whatever location that you're in. Some other things that I learned while I was there was just to appreciate the simple things. In Puerto Viejo, everyone lives life so simply, and that kind of blessed me. This kind of happened on like the 4th, 5th day of my trip. I was there for about 8 days, and on like the 5th day, I just realized that, wow, life is so simple here. People don't have much and they don't want much, and it's not because they can't afford it, because a lot of people that I actually did meet were actually from the US or Canada, and they moved to Puerto Viejo, and it was just amazing because I was like, wow, you're moving to this little town that has about 30 places that you can go to, and you're so content with this lifestyle. And it was crazy for me being from New York. I can never go to every restaurant in a lifetime in New York if I wanted to. There's constantly new ones opening up. There's constantly ones closing down. There's constantly new things to do, new things being built. And to be in a location where people can literally go to the same restaurant 5 times over within the same year was just like, wow, don't you guys get bored? And I kind of asked people, and then one day it just hit me, like, you don't need all of that. You're trading the quantity of life for the quality of life, and it was just amazing. And that kind of blessed me for the whole trip. Like, the rest of the trip, I just felt so full, and I didn't even think I was gonna feel that way, because I was just like, I don't believe people when they say they have such a spiritual experience, but I really did. And it was more so in the simplicity of it all. And it was just, I can't even explain it. I wish I could explain it to you guys, but it was just like, wow, when I get back to the US, I just want to do something. I want to be more eco-friendly. I want to start more programs. I want to do this. I want to do this. I just wanted to do all of these things, and it was such an amazing feeling just to come back to the US and felt like I wanted to contribute something. So the fact that I left my tripod towards the end of the trip, it didn't even matter to me. I didn't even care. Like, I was just literally like, I don't even care about this tripod. I'm so happy to be here. And that's all I can say to anyone who's traveling solo or who's traveling in general. Wherever you're doing, whatever you are doing where you're putting yourself in a new situation, appreciate every part of it and try to find the best things. If everything is going wrong, if you are breathing in that moment, suck it in and be like, thank you God that I am breathing. Find that one thing to be happy about and just really stress it, because sometimes that's all you have. And I just want to thank you guys for watching this video. If you did like this video, give it a big thumbs up. If you ever went solo traveling, please tell me what's the name of the country you went to. What did you do? What did you eat? Did you meet people? And if you haven't gone on a solo trip, would you go on a solo trip? And if so, where would you go? Definitely leave that in the comments below. I'd love to talk to you guys. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. If you want to see more videos like this, please let me know. I will be traveling a lot more this year, so I will have way more of these videos. Hopefully I'll be able to film a full vlog, but then again, I'll probably be living in the moment, not sure. I just wanted to thank you guys for watching this video, and this is Tashay Loren, and I am out. Peace.